this video, we're going to go over 5 mobility exercises. It kind of covers head to toe and hits either where you are typically tight as human beings or as you need good inputs into your body, into your nervous system. We hit both of those with these mobility exercises. I'm going to talk about anatomy and how to make sure you're doing these exercises correctly to hit the areas that you actually need to be moving. Because if you don't, you're just going to stretch an area that doesn't necessarily need stretching. Making sure that you feel what mobility area you're targeting is a key to doing the mobility exercises correctly. Number one is for our upper back, your thoracic spine. We are going to be doing a rotation and an extension in this kind of form area exercise. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be on your hands and knees. You shift your butt back towards your feet. The first one is like a thread the needle. One hand comes out and the other hand goes through and reaches to get that rotation for your upper back. The key within this is that we want our lumbar spine to be flexed. If we don't have that flexion in our lumbar spine, which is the reason why our butt goes towards our feet, usually we'll rotate in our low back instead of in our thoracic spine, because we have ribs in our thoracic spine, and so it makes it inherently more stable. It also makes it inherently more that we need mobility there. Our low back, since it doesn't have ribs, it usually means that we need stability there. And so we flex our low back and then we rotate our thoracic spine. If you feel it in your thoracic spine, bonus, it'd be great for you. The next thing you're going to be doing in this kind of exercise is you're going to reach your arms forward. What you're doing in this one is that we're getting extension for our thoracic spine. Same thing here is that we want that lumbar lock. We want to flex our low back. And so as you're reaching and bringing your butt back, your arms are going forward. You're kind of engaging your lats a little bit by bringing your shoulder blades down, and then you're going to be reaching the upper part of your chest up. Think about if you have boobs or you have nipples, then you're going to be reaching and pointing those up as far as you can. With your low back flexed in a mechanical lock, because your butt is going towards your feet, as you reach up, then you only have the ability to extend your thoracic spine. You're going to go back and forth between these, kind of relaxing and coming back. And then same thing for your rotation. You do one side and then you can do the other side. I love these two exercises. I kind of group them together as one. For your second exercise, this one is more of a full body stretch. It also gets a little bit more of your neck into it. So you're going to be laying on your back. Your arms are going to be out wide in kind of a W position. And then you're going to be reaching your arms up and forward. This helps with not only the ability for your arms, your shoulders to flex and working on that flexion, it helps to stretch your pecs out a little bit. And then you're also going to be adding in a little bit of a chin tuck, or where you're bringing your chin down towards your spine, down towards your chest, and you're extending your spine up. You're basically lengthening your neck and getting a little bit of a stretch in the back part as your arms are reaching up. This helps you with kind of an overhead press moves. It helps you with lengthening your body, making kind of a decompression in your spine because gravity isn't affecting and acting on it. Hold that just for a second and then relax again. And then you can bring your arms back down to the W position. Also get a little bit different of a stretch for your pecs. Do this again and again. I also like to add in a little bit of a toe stretch and a toe point as I do this to just extend my entire body and to reach on getting it as long as possible. Number three deals more with our hips. Our hips are a position that we need mobility in. It's an inherently stable joint because we have a ball and we have a socket, and that ball and socket is different from our shoulders in the fact that the socket really wraps around that ball. And so inherently, as gravity is on us, it has stability and control with that. For our shoulder, it has a little small socket and a big old ball. So that doesn't have much stability inherently. And so for our hips, we need a whole lot more mobility. We also tend to have tighter hip flexors. And so as you're doing this, I want you to think about being in this lunge position. You're going to be nice and tall in your chest. As I'm saying it, I'm doing it too. And then instead of just lunging forward like a typical hip flexor stretch, like a runner's lunge, you're going to do a posterior pelvic tilt. So we want to engage your core and get that control stability for that one point of contact of your hip flexors, which would be your spine and your pelvis. And we're going to shift your pelvis back, flatten your spine, and make sure that that's a solid point. Then you may even feel a stretch right there. Shift your hips forward a little bit if you need to, but I would guarantee a lot of y'all are going to feel that stretch right in that straight up position. Again, shift your hips forward a little bit if you need to engage that hip flexor just a little bit for that added stretch. Make sure that you're holding your core when you do that. If you have tight hip flexors, also check out this video. It tells you how to strengthen your core to help you with your tight hip flexors. It's so key. It's so needed for so many of us. Number four goes into our nervous system a little bit and our hamstrings. And so many of us that have core issues, get hip flexor issues, we also tend to have tight hamstrings. And or if you're a mountain biker, then you can have tight hamstrings as well. Let's stretch those, but in a way that's not going to piss off our sciatic nerve, but give us good input into our nervous system to help kind of relax it and help it feel better. So you're going to be on your back. You're going to grab the back of your knee with your hands so you can support and relax your leg. Then you're going to be straightening your leg up to the ceiling and then bringing it back down. When you start to feel a little bit of tightness, go to that point and then come back down. Don't try to press and straighten it as hard as possible, because this is your nerve that we're also stretching with this stretch. Nerves don't like to be really intensely stretched. It's a good way to piss them off and make them hurt and have more tension as a whole. And so as you're doing this, it's called a pump stretch. You'll pump into it and then you'll come back out. You'll pump into it and then you'll come back out. This way, you don't piss off your nerve as you're doing it, and it should feel looser even as you go. To add a little bit more to it, you can flex your foot back and you can then do that same pump. If it's too much in general, then leave your foot nice and relaxed and it'll naturally straighten out a little bit as you're doing this pump stretch. Do let 20 each side for this, probably not more than that as a whole. The last exercise, we want to stretch out your glutes a little bit. We want to add a little bit of extra rotation for your hip joint. And this figure 4 can be done in so many different positions. It can be done in a pigeon type move, or it can be done just on your back and bringing that other leg up, grabbing the back of that knee, and then having that external rotation happen at the hip. If you want to add a little bit more external rotation to get a little bit more glute, then add that pressure onto the knee that you're stretching, the leg that you're stretching, and make sure you're getting that external rotation movement at the hip as you're flexing it up. Hold this for about 15 seconds and then relax. This is the main one that you're going to be holding along with your lunge stretch, and then you're going to be doing it for at least a total of 60 seconds. As you get more and more used to this, then you can hold it for longer and longer periods. We want to work you up to at least holding for a minute, and then you can relax. That goes over our mostly mobility, some stretching of muscles, some stretching of joints, and some in your nervous system. We don't want to do a lot of these before we're actually going to do a workout. These are great post-workout exercises, except for your thoracic rotation, your upper back rotation and extension. Those can be done before you're doing your workout as a way to help you gain motion and range before you're actually applying. I hope this was helpful. If you have other stretches that you love, other mobility exercises you love, I'd love to hear them down in the comments below. And if you like this, please subscribe to the channel. Cheers, y'all.